Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We got some things we have got to get into. There is something that just recently happened. Unfortunately, I wasn't here when it all broke, but I wanted to give you guys this breaking news on this whole thing. And again, you know, my heart, thoughts, prayers go out to all the people out in Spotsylvania, Pennsylvania. It's a new name that I've never heard of before. It's Spotsylvania, Virginia. It's a new one for me, okay? But we have got to talk about this. We're not gonna be on for a long one. I'm sorry. I know this is a late one, but we're not gonna be on for a long one, okay? Because I know that there's gonna be a long day ahead of us, I'm sure, tomorrow as well with all the news. But we got to get into this. So do me a favor, all right? Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you hit that follow button, please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. Hit that follow button, of course. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. That'd be greatly appreciated if you could hit that subscribe button over there. We got a video over there that I just did, but I did earlier today, revolving around Blake Lively. It's very interesting. Go check it out if you can. After this show, of course. Hit that join button down below. Hit that join button. Become a member. Check out that Patreon. Check out that Locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay? Check it out. We got some really great stuff over there. Okay, we got this whole situation going on in Spotsylvania, Virginia, which is very tragic. And from my understanding, the assailant is still on the loose, at least as far as what I've heard so far. Now, this is very interesting, okay? And very crazy. Again, this happened just a few hours ago, and I wanted to bring this up to you guys and let you know what's going on. So right now we have 3 that have lost their lives. 3 have been injured in this shooting that happened in a townhouse complex in Virginia. And of course, you know, there's not a whole lot of information out here, but we're going to get as much as we can, right, as we go through today or tonight's show. So let's take a look at this article here. And like I said, from my understanding, the suspect or suspects is still at large right now as we speak. Okay. Now that is something that is very, very interesting. And I'm wondering what the heck is going on here and what happened, right? How this all went down. So 3 people have lost their lives. 3 people have been injured in this situation, this tragedy that happened in Spotsylvania County, Virginia today. All right, this evening. So according to Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, authorities responded to a shooting at about 5:30 p.m. in the old Greenwich area. The sheriff's office confirmed 3 people were deceased and 3 others were transported to local hospitals. Officials urged the public to avoid the area while they searched for a suspect or suspects. No further details were immediately released. Of course, there are a lot of questions on what happened here, where the assailant or the assailants are right now as we speak, and we're still trying to...
Homes.com's comprehensive search layers cover an array of environmental factors.
Very soon. Just let me mute that. We got an ad. I'm going to play this video that's off of this news clip here in just a second, because I'm curious what they got to say here. Let's take a listen, or let's take a look. Whoops. Where is my mouse?
This shooting is now deadly, right?
On your side, 12 News starts with breaking news.
That local breaking news is just into the newsroom out of Spotsylvania County.
That's right. The current understand this shooting is now deadly, right?
That is correct. We have just learned a shooting has left 3 people dead, 3 others injured in Spotsylvania County. We don't have a lot of details for you right now. Here's what we do know. This happened in the old Greenwich area. The sheriff's office posting on Facebook just after 6, asking folks to avoid the area because of a heavy police presence. We have a crew on the way to the scene. We're still working to find out the age of the victims and if a suspect is even in custody at this point. Of course, we'll continue to bring you the very latest updates online and on air in the First Alert Center. I'm Kurt Autry. Now back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll continue.
Of course, we're still wondering what the hell is going on here, what actually happened, what transpired here. We're looking into it as much as we can. And thank you. I appreciate all the you guys saying hello and all the well wishes and all that. Real quick, thank you, Maura. I appreciate you gifting 5 memberships. All right, welcome to the family, all 5 of you. All right, okay. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships, Maura. It is greatly appreciated. So again, like I said, we still don't have a lot. There's slowly but surely information is coming out here. We're getting as much as we can get. Okay, so new video shows men with weapons, okay, following this mass tragedy in Spotsylvania County. We're going to look at that video here in a second. 3 people are gone, which we already know. 3 people have been injured. All right. They say what we know, according to officials, and we're going to be taking a look at their press conference here in just a little bit. According to officials, the shooting happened around 5:30 p.m. in the area of Old Greenwich Circle. When deputies arrived, they found 6 victims. 3 people were declared gone. 3 others were transported to the hospital. In an evening press conference, Major Scott with the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office said the victims were found outside. I mean, this is probably as bad as it can get, with at least 6 people being shot right now. It's been a stressful 24 hours. So Fredericksburg City Schools announced a delayed opening for Thursday, citing the profound impact this tragedy had on members of its school community. Okay, so of course the school, Fredericksburg City Public Schools, have made they're saying that they're actually saying here, in light of the profound impact this incident had on members of our school community, FCPS will operate on a 2-hour delay tomorrow. So not Thursday, but tomorrow. And it may go throughout the rest of the week. Okay. What they're saying. So Fox 5 had a chance to speak with a witness who lives in the area or in the neighborhood. She says she was coming home from work when she heard gunshots. I was coming down the hill. I was looking forward and I saw about 3 or 4 individuals, and I heard it, and I saw bullets going everywhere. They were kind of going at each other. Then I saw some run off down the road, some run off. So there's more than just one suspect. All right. So they saw some run off down the road, and after a little bit, they started walking back, holding their big guns, and started walking up the hill. Then they cut off behind the townhouses, and that's when the first officer arrived on the scene. This is what one of the neighbors just said. So again, this is more than just one assailant. Okay? This is more than just one assailant, y'all. So now we're understanding that too. So this must, I'm not going to say this must be, but could this be gang related? Could this be a gang related situation? A viewer also shared with Fox 5 in the wake of this tragedy. So in it, you can see 2 people holding what appears to be long guns, walking down the street. Moments after, the street turned into a crime scene. Right now, the sheriff's office is not connecting that to the actual incident or to the tragedy, but they did tell Fox 5 they're interviewing people. All right. What we don't know, the conditions of the injured victims are not known at this time. Officials also do not know the ages of the victims as of yet. Now, there is rumor about there being some minors, some youngins as victims in this situation, but that has not been fully confirmed as of yet. Okay. And yes, this is most definitely live. Hi. Okay. Hi. All right. This is live. The sheriff's office says the investigation is active and fluid. They continue to advise residents to stay indoors and stay clear of the area. Now, this obviously is a article that came out. Well, this is 10:16 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm sure that this was, it was updated just a little bit ago. Okay. And just a few minutes ago, or actually just about an hour ago. Okay. Now, just so you guys know, this actually happened today. So for those of y'all who are wondering what's going on, there are 3 people that have lost their lives, 3 others that have been injured. Okay. Out in Spotsylvania, Virginia. They do not know, or they do not have, they have not, detained any assailants. So we do not know what's going on. Right. There's not a whole lot of information that they've given thus far, but there is, obviously there is a press conference that they did do. So we're going to be listening to that or watching that here very shortly. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at this news clip.
Following all night long, at least 6 people shot, 3 of them dead in a Spotsylvania County neighborhood.
And because of that shooting, we've just learned Fredericksburg City Schools will be on a 2-hour delay tomorrow. So why is this all connected? Let's get you out to Fox 5 Nana St. Bones, who she's live in Fredericksburg. And Nana, you've been there all night long. What's the latest?
Hey, Jim and Angie, good evening. I'll tell you, this is still a very active scene. Deputies are actually, they just expanded the scene right here, pushed us back a little bit. But this is the area of Old Greenwich Circle. This is where Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office says a number of people opened fire, killing 3 and injuring several others. We had a chance to speak with a witness who lives in the neighborhood. She was coming home from work when she heard the gunshots.
When I was coming down the hill, I was looking forward, and then I saw like about 3 or 4 individuals, and then I heard it and I saw bullets going everywhere, like they were kind of going at each other. Then I saw some run off down the road, and then after a little bit they started walking back, still holding their big guns. And then they started walking back up the hill. Then they cut off in between the townhouse and ran back there, and then that's when the first officer arrived on scene.
Now, first off, let me just say this. She says they. So clearly there was more than just one person walking around with a long pew. All right. Long story short. All right. Now, apparently, Auntie Ree, just so you know, Auntie, apparently they did have some sort of press conference a little bit ago. We are going to be listening to a little bit of that in just a second. But again, this is more than just one assailant. And they walked into this, apartment complex area type thing. And of course, opened fire in this area. Something is up for sure. And is this gang related? This could very well be gang related. Don't know though, right? Because it's not every day that you have a group of men or a group of people go into an area with pews and just start firing, right? Usually there's some sort of thing going on. It must be street beef. It could be something else, but we don't know as of yet. Let's continue though. There we go.
Now on your screen is cell phone video a viewer shared with Fox 5
Look at
DC.
that.
You can see 2 people holding what appears to be long guns.
Okay. So you got 2 dudes walking into this apartment complex area with long rifles, and I'm calling 911. Look at that. I'm gonna try to rewind this a little bit, but look at that. That is no bueno.
Walking down the street and
I'm rolling that back. Let's just take a look at that.
Now on your screen is cell phone video a viewer shared with Fox 5 DC. You can see 2 people holding what appears to be long guns walking down the street.
Hold on. I'm trying. Sorry, I'm playing it over and over and over again because their faces are fully covered, but I don't know if their hands are, right? So the guy who's looks around to see what's going on because he's like Batman. He got the mask on, so he can't really use his eye. He can't do this with his eyes. You know what I mean? So he has to turn his whole head around to see what's going on, like the old Batman, cap and cow. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, the Michael Keaton Batman. If he has to look up, he's got to do this. He's got to turn his whole body around to see what the hell's going on. The Batman. All right. So it's exactly what he's doing here too. Okay. And so this is very interesting because their face is fully covered here. Right. But he's turning, and I'm wondering if he's wearing gloves or if that's his actual hands that we can see.
Now, on your screen is cell phone video a viewer shared with Fox 5 DC. You can see two people holding.
I think that's a white guy. This guy in the hoodie right here, straight up, I think the guy in the gray hoodie right here is a white guy. Or very light-skinned. Very light-skinned. Okay, hold on.
Appears to be long.
I'm sorry. I'm playing it one more again. But I think that's a white guy. I think he's Caucasian. I'm sorry. Everybody. I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be rude. Okay. His lineage could very well be from the Caucasus Mountains. Okay. But the other guy, I don't know. He might be black, but he also could be, he also could be Latino. He could be light-skinned. You know what I mean? Anything's possible. But let's take a look at this again.
Now, on your screen is cell phone video a viewer shared with Fox 5 DC. You can see two people holding what.
That's a white guy, I think. I think that's a white guy. And then the other guy's black, for sure. But that's interesting. Okay? Or, like I said, he's light-skinned. He is lighter complected. How about that? Okay? Before some of y'all go, how dare you say that? There's some damn migrants going on in Spotsylvania. Before you do that, okay? That looks like a white man to me, or a white kid to me, okay? Or, yeah, oh, yeah, you're right. Beans and bacon. Sorry, I forgot. No. This guy could be white. He could be light-skinned. He could be Latino. He could also be Asian. Anything's possible, right? We could throw that out there. We got to be careful. We got to be safe, and we got to be fair, right? DEI. I'm kidding. But moving on, right? Moving on.
Appears to be long guns walking down the street, and moments later, that street turned into a crime scene. Caution tape blocking neighbors from getting into their homes, and deputies with their weapons drawn running into this wooded area.
Now, let me tell you something. What's interesting about this is that in what we read in that report, they say they don't know if there's a connection between these two. Damn right, there's a connection between them walking down the street with these long pew-pews, and then this tragedy is happening. Damn right, there's a connection. There's no question on that. Okay? None. But let's continue on.
The sheriff's office says around 5:30, they received a number of calls about a shooting in this community. When they arrived, they found 3 dead on scene, and 3 others were rushed to the hospital. Right now, it is unclear if the suspects or even the victims lived in the area. We are still waiting to find out their ages and conditions.
Because they're kids. I'm telling you right now, those kids, those 2 guys were kids. I'm rolling that back in a second. We're going to look at them one more again. They don't even got no meat on their bones, y'all. They're children. Those are kids. All right? For sure. Looking like damn mannequins wearing oversized jogging suits. I'm just saying. Never done a damn push-up in their damn life. Okay? That's how skinny and small they are. Those are kids. And they're doing reckless-ish like this. But I'll replay it again. It looks like hangers just floating. Okay? Hangers holding clothes. Okay? Floating down the street, holding pew-pews. It's ridiculous. Let's continue.
This is probably as bad as it could get, with at least 6 people being shot right now. It's been a stressful 24 hours.
Now, a couple of things tonight. The sheriff's office is telling us that at least 6 people were shot this afternoon during this incident, meaning that there could be more victims. There's also video going around of deputies detaining 2 men right now that the sheriff's office is not connecting to the shooting, but they do tell me they are talking and interviewing people. Right now, the community is asked to stay away from this area. Fredericksburg City Schools announced a delay opening for tomorrow, citing the profound impact the shooting has had on members of its school community.
Yeah, I want to say that she was real slick how she slid in there with the microphone. That was slick. I will tell her that. But here's the thing, okay? They have 2 people that they've detained, 2 people that they're saying they're still not saying that there's any connection to these 2 guys to this tragedy. When I say there probably is a connection, and we'll probably get more information here soon, hopefully before the end of the night or hopefully first thing in the morning, right? But at the end of the day, these are kids. These are all kids. This is just what I think. They're all kids just walking in and just opening fire and doing this kind of crazy stuff. Don't know why this is actually happening. It's a damn shame. And this is why I say we need to talk to our youths. And it's more than just black and white. It's our youths. It's the dumb youths, okay? We need to talk to our kids. Period, point blank, okay? Period, point blank. We need to start talking to our kids, all right? And that's what's so frustrating about this, right? And I'm wondering what is going on here and why did this happen? Why did they all show up to this area, right? They're saying that right now they have 2 people, 2 clearly they look like kids showing up with pew-pews. Why? All right? Why? But again, this is interesting. And I will say this too. I want to say this too real quick. Thank you guys for being here on a late time. I know that, I haven't really done a late show in a while, but I really wanted to share and talk to you guys about this big time, and discuss this whole situation. At the end of the day, this is something that just broke. We need to talk about it, and we need to start talking to our kids, period. We really, really do. But let's continue on. But like I said, she slid into that shot real smooth like.
And guys, hours later, still very active. Not too sure if I got to point this out earlier. There's evidence markers on the ground right now. You have sheriff's deputies, detectives still taking pictures, trying to figure out what exactly took place here. This is also a multi-agency investigation. So Virginia State Police is here. Again, everyone is asked to stay indoors, but if you know anything, you're asked to call 911.
Of course. Now, hold on.
Guys.
Oh, snap. Hold on. I hate when they do that. Commercial crap. But again, good evening to every single last one, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me just get to that part again, because I want us all to see these kids, because these are kids. Okay? Look at this.
Now, on your screen is cell phone video a viewer shared with Fox 5 DC. You can see 2 people holding what appears to be long guns walking down the street, and moments later, that street turned into a crime scene. You can see 2 people holding what appears to be. Now, on your screen is cell phone video a viewer shared with Fox 5 DC. You can see 2 people holding what appears to be long guns walking down the street, and moments.
You know that? Do you know? You know how I know that these are young kids is how they hold themselves, how they're walking. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very much like they are children. Okay, with these pew-pews in their hands, doing God knows what in this area where they shouldn't even be doing what they're doing right now. Okay, and of course, at the end of the day, you have people who have lost their lives when they didn't even need to be losing their lives.
Later, that street turned into a crime scene.
In this fashion, right? And this is just very, very sad. I'm going to show you guys some aerial shots of the area because, of course, they were covering a lot of this as well just a few hours ago. Like I said, this just happened a few hours ago. Just a heads up for those of y'all who are just getting into into the chat. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We talk about a lot of stuff on this channel. I know this is a late show, but sometimes the news just breaks late at night. And so we understand right now there was a mass tragedy in Spotsylvania, Virginia, where we have 3 that have lost their lives. 3 others are injured. We still do not know the full scope of everything. The assailants are still on the loose. They do not know where these guys are right now. And actually, I'm going to play this a little bit so you guys can see this, because there's not really any voiceover. There's no one reporting on top of this footage. But they were saying that, and if you can see, like, doors to on the cars, some of the red cars, some of the doors are open, because apparently there was a firefight right there in this area. And there were apparently bodies that were in the shot. In fact, I think one of them is right here. I think one's right here and one is right here. Right behind this red truck, this red car, and right on the side of this silver car right here. I mean, that's just my assumption. Okay? That's at least what it looks like. Now, this is tragic because 3 people lost their lives. 3 others in the hospital. They do not know the full scope of what's going on with them. They don't know if they're going to make it or not. That's one thing's for sure. There's rumor of one of them being a kid, but I don't know if that's confirmed or not. And again, all of these assailants, because there's more than just one assailant, more than one trigger man that allegedly is on the loose right now. Why did this go down? We still do not know. But hopefully we'll find out more information here soon. I'm going to play a little bit of this, okay? And of course, it just decides not to work for me. Hold on. Here we go. I'm going to scrub up a little bit because they start talking about the news here. So, or the news starts talking about what we're seeing here, okay?
In the newsroom, though, helping our team to kind of give you a better idea of what's happening.
Yeah. So, Matt, what are you learning right now?
I mean, within the last, I would say 5 minutes or so, video is starting to come in that we're working to confirm. And I want to be very clear about that right now at this point. We have video that we are looking at. We're not going to show you yet because we don't have it confirmed. But in the video, it does appear to show 2 men with long guns walking through what looks like with that road right there, which is Old Greenwich Road, which is where you're seeing that heavy police presence. Now, with talking with officials and speaking with some of our sources on the ground, that area there, Lafayette Boulevard, which is kind of the main thoroughfare on your way to Fredericksburg, that area is where the police have kind of set up their staging and their rescue area along with fire and rescue. Now, when we got this call and we were looking into it, there were multiple ambulances called out within, minutes of this information coming out. We're working to get more information about, like you said, what led up to the shooting, what precipitated, where the suspects are. But as of right now, the sheriff's office saying they do not have any suspects in custody. If you're looking at the video of the chopper, or from our chopper cam, which you can tell is this is a heavily wooded area, right? And this is sort of like a cul-de-sac area with, there's a cul-de-sac area that you can see right here. This is one of the neighborhoods. This is Old Greenwich Road. Now, there are sort of forest areas to the left and right, wooded areas off to the left of what you're seeing on your screen right there. And you can see, by the way, with the crime scene tape there, kind of the different areas where they focus the investigations. It looks like it's on 3 to 4 different sections of townhouses there. One of the things I wanted to be able to point out to you is that in a situation like this, you'll generally have one unit that's taken over. And when we were working to get this confirmed, we found that Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, they're the ones who are controlling this investigation. Fredericksburg City Police, they have been called in as backup to help. And the Virginia State Police are also sort of assisting in some manner. But for the most part, this is a Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office investigation. Now, as we've been working to learn more information, we know that many of the folks in this area have been moved back further as the investigation has spread. Now, in a situation like this, generally speaking, one of the things that you're kind of looking at when it comes to this is what witnesses are on the ground. You can see some folks, we're able to get close, but one of the things that we do want to stress is that we're not pushing in further with our Sky 9 camera because our pilot has confirmed to us there are 2 bodies on the ground there. Like I said, this is a very fluid situation. We're learning the details of this as we go through with you, working to get information. But like Lorenzo and Leslie were saying, these are people's family members. These are all someone who is a member of a family, of a neighborhood, of a community that has been taken this afternoon. Now, we do know, and I want to reiterate again, 3 people dead so far reported, 3 taken away by an ambulance. That's the latest what we're getting right there. And kind of off to the side on the way out by the ambulance, if you're looking at the top of the screen there, you can see crews are starting to come in to the area. Forensics teams are going to be going over the scene, right? Looking for bullet casings, looking to see if there's any sort of relationship between this and other shootings. You're going to have detectives going door to door. One woman did send us video, and I'm stressing this again, we've not had it confirmed yet, but she sent us video that appears to show her from inside one of these townhomes, seeing 2 people who appear to have guns going through the neighborhood. Again, we're not going to show that to you until we confirm it, but I want you to know that's what we're working on. That's what we're seeing back here at the station. We're kind of sifting through, if you will, all sorts of different information as well as different video. And you can see it's a very heavy police presence. Where the actual staging area is, where they're starting to block off and kind of gather, is actually at a gas station of Sheets, which, as you can see, as the chopper moves and kind of turns the camera around, you see it's quite far from the actual neighborhood of Old Greenwich, the Old Greenwich neighborhood right there. But yeah, this is where everyone has been kind of funneled to in order to sort of begin the process of getting the logistics on the ground, the strategic moves as this investigation ramps up. Again, I want to report that the sheriff's office in Spotsylvania County is reporting 3 people killed in a shooting and 3 victims transported to local hospitals. No suspects apprehended at the time as of right now. And they're asking, as you can see with how far away they are with their staging area, for the public to stay clear of the area. And guys, that's what we're seeing in the newsroom. I'm going to keep making some calls. We're working the assignment desk, especially around the clock, to really make sure we're able to bring you the most accurate information, but also the earliest information you can expect in this investigation. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Matt, thank you for that. I mean, there's some real urgency around trying to get some answers here, because what is clear is whoever is behind this, whether it's a person or persons behind this violence tonight, they've not been caught. And so there's calls coming in at 5:30 in the evening. People are headed home. Some may be still trying to get to their homes. As you can see, that pretty huge perimeter there. We can kind of see people kind of congregating in some areas. It may be detectives. It may be people who are learning that they will not be able to get into their homes, at least for some time.
Yeah, and looking at the posture of the police presence here, as we've heard from the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office spokesperson, they don't have a suspect or suspects in custody right now. So it is pretty clear that more than likely they are searching for someone in this case. If not, most of these officers that you're looking at right here, these apparatus, this all would have been concentrated on that neighborhood where we saw those townhomes where we believe this shooting occurred shortly after 5:30 this evening. But again, as we've been talking about, they have to talk to witnesses at this point to figure out what happened. I spoke with someone who works at that Sheets, and a lot of other folks in the town are saying the same thing. We saw a lot of police officers just racing down Lafayette Boulevard. They're wondering what's going on, what's happening here. Well, as of right now, we can tell you that 3 people are dead in an area where this is not as common. 3 people dead in this residential area, 3 people taken to the hospital as well.
Small town where everybody knows everybody and has a general sense of how things are moving. You can see how this has to be very disconcerting for the community there, for people waiting for answers, for people who can't get close to their homes, for people who are learning, sadly, that their loved ones are not going to come home tonight, and certainly not in the way that they had hoped. And then, of course, we're still waiting to find out about the status of the 3 people who were transported to the hospital. What we do not know is what started this stream of violence that we are talking to you about and still trying to piece together. Initially, we thought that there were several scenes here involved. And so you can see with all that tape, and as the pilot is sort of pulling out to show you all these areas where police and investigators and first responders have kind of all come in here to figure things out. that this is not just one small stretch of this area or community.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the tricky part. And we should point out here with this large police presence, we are the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office telling us right off the bat, telling everyone in this area to stay away, try and avoid it if at all possible, because they are investigating. They're trying to talk to people who were in the area during the time of the shooting. And if they are searching for someone, or the shooter or shooters in this case, they want to be able to find those folks quickly. So when you start congregating, when you have folks gathering in these areas to figure out what's happening, they really are impeding the efforts by these law enforcement officers.
You do see a few cars moving there, but obviously the majority of the traffic in that area has really come to a standstill, which is why they are telling people not to come in the area. We're still working to get information, including information to pass on to people who happen to live in that particular housing development there. It looks to us to be a townhome development. It could be a mix of townhomes, apartments. Again, these are all things that we're still working to confirm, but hoping to get some information for folks who have questions about whether they can get into their homes tonight and what that looks like for them as they too are waiting for answers.
And I'm sure piecing this together is a bit tricky as well, because you saw the police presence near those townhomes.
Right.
We showed you the Sheetz gas station where they're sort of setting up a staging area, but then the shopping center as well, you saw the police presence there. So trying to understand why these areas are critical to this investigation. That's what we're waiting to learn, hopefully in the next couple of minutes or so. But Matt, we know that you're getting answers from the newsroom as well, checking in with sources and making calls. What more do you know?
Audio out.
Okay, looks like we're going to work on his audio there. But again, what we're learning, 3 people dead in this community. Talk about the shock and how much that's going to change this area.
Yeah, 3 people dead, 3 people transported to the hospital. This is obviously, as we're on the air, an active situation where some sort of shooting has occurred. We don't know what started this. We don't know how many people are involved. And most importantly, police don't seem to have any idea of where these people are who are believed to be behind the violence. Our Matt Gregory's in the newsroom. Matt, I think we got your microphone.
And I'm going to say that's bad, given the fact that they don't know where these guys are. And this is more than just one person. This is going to be a long experience unless people start talking. If people start squawking, it might be a different situation, but I don't know.
Phone working there. What do you know?
I mean, like you're talking about, let's kind of set up a timeline right now of what we know and what we've been learning as we go through this. So around 5:30, that's when the Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office says that the shooting that's when the report of the shooting came out. Now, we were keeping tabs back here in the newsroom. We were hearing about it probably within a few minutes, and around 5:42 is when we hear this call come out for multiple ambulances. And I'm telling you, it was about 5 or 6 is what I'm hearing across, the dispatch. And as we kind of go through this process, we slowly learned a bit more. We're talking to sources on the ground. They're telling us what they're seeing, a heavy police presence. We're hearing reports of multiple dead. That was what we got confirmed through a state senator through the area. So it's been a process over the last, I would say, hour and a half or so. But let's take you right now, and I want to show you this because this is what's happening. This is unfolding as we speak. This is the scene right here. It is a typical townhouse neighborhood here off Old Greenwich Road. And what we're seeing, especially in the middle right there, those are sort of your police cars that are Spotsylvania County Sheriff's officers and ambulance off to the side. We're not going to go tighter because, like I said before, there are still bodies on the ground. That's what our pilot has said. Our helicopter pilot has told us. So they're staying back. The other information we're working to confirm. So we called businesses in the area. We talked to folks there. They said, yes, they've heard lots of things. We're now confirming that 3 people are dead, that 3 people are on their way to the hospital, if not at the hospital right now. What caused this? That's a part that we still do not have any information on from police. We're asking them about that. In the same time, police have said they don't have any suspects apprehended. So they're asking the public to stay away from this area because if this has already happened, it's very much a not safe scene for people to be near, especially the public. But the video we're working to get confirmed, I want to be very clear about this. It's coming from one of these townhomes, and it does purport to show 2 people with long guns walking through the neighborhood. And then at some point, something that sounds to me, just listening to it, like gunshots goes off and they start to run with these guns. We're going to work to get that confirmed. At the same time, we've seen other video that we still have to work through of the police officers' initial investigation, as well as what I'm sad to say looks like several bodies under sheets. This is a situation that we're learning more tragically about by the minute. We have our crew at the assignment desk calling everyone. Like I said, we call businesses, we talk to neighbors, we did as much as we can as an aggregate of the investigation that we can bring to you as we continue to work with our police sources to get those confirmed. But you can see here the investigation. And if you're looking in the bottom corners, there is a device that the forensics team is using that's it basically takes kind of a snapshot of what's happening, because when you're doing these investigations and there are shootings, they're trying to track every sort of bullet that may have been spilled out. There will obviously be casings, and the casings can be matched to a specific gun. I don't know if that's been made clear a lot. I know we talk about it when we talk about shooting scenes, but the way that, ATF as well as the police will go through this is they will look at every single casing that they can find, and on the back is where the actual firing pin of the gun has made an indentation. It's actually quite unique, and that allows them to track these guns. So that's something they're doing as they're looking at that. You see multiple cars with doors open. It looks like this is just a scene that police are still grasping to get a hand on. And you can see it's blocked off several different sections. So if you're looking at it right here, you have one section here where there's not a whole lot of police presence, one down here where there seems to be more investigators, more forensics teams. That's where we believe the focus of the shooting is. It's right here in this area. And that's kind of what we're learning as we go through every second, every minute. Now, so some other folks we're going to reach out to. We're going to continue checking with our sources that are on the ground. We're also going to continue checking with the police, the sheriff's office, rather, in Spotsylvania. They're offering a little bit of information here and there that we do know. The chopper, as you can see, is giving us great.
Hold on real quick, because I'm reading you guys' comments and all that, and honestly, we don't know what kind of situation is going on here and why the situation did happen the way it did. We don't know who the people are, within this whole thing. I think there's going to be more information as things come out. It may be a group of mixed group of kids that were involved in this whole thing. A gang, okay. And Mr. J Smooth is saying he's from the area too. That's what's up. I'm reading what you're posting as well in the chat. But the thing is that this gang could be a multicultural group of kids. You know what I mean? Gangs don't always have to be just white or black or one race. It can be a bunch of kids all together and doing some crazy stuff. It could be that too. You know what I mean? Anything is possible. We live in that kind of world, okay, where anything is possible. But nonetheless, you said right. Okay, so Jay Smooth just said right, but this area is not a gang area. It's more of a wow. I didn't. Well, that's a statement. I would love to know more information, right? And I know you're in the area. I know that you live in that area, but of course, I'd love to know, hear a little bit more to confirm. And that, like I said, there could have been a situation that happened that caused all those people to show up in one particular area in that particular time in that particular area. And also, I will say this too: gang-related stuff can still happen in areas that aren't typical gang-related areas. Do you see what I'm saying? Even if you live in the whitest of suburbs, doesn't mean that bad things can't come to you in the suburbs. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know about all that. I think more as time goes on, we're going to find out more information. And clearly we're hearing, we're now in a time where back in the day, you had to go out and find trouble. Now we live in a time where trouble just finds you anywhere. You could be walking down the street in the nicest area of a town and still get gunned down, right? Nowadays, right? Your kids can go to the nicest of schools and there could be a mass tragedy that ensues. You see what I'm saying? So again, I would like to hear more information about all this before we just start. You know what I mean? And I know one of our somebody just commented and they're from the area, but again, I say we wait and hear about more information, right? I think that would be the best thing to do, at least for now. Because all we do know is 3 people have lost their lives, 3 people have been injured. We don't know the conditions of those 3 that have been injured. There are assailants that are out there that could be anywhere. They could have met at that particular place at that particular time to do a bad thing because their targets lived in that area. That's possible, right? So anything's possible, right? So we're going to see what happens here. Let's go and take a look at some more.
7 News on your side.
Some more stuff
Starts now. We begin with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news at this hour. 7 News is on the very active scene of a mass shooting in Northern Virginia. And right now, police are still looking for that shooter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Thuman. 3 people were killed and 3 others injured around 5:30 this evening along Old Greenwich Circle in Spotsylvania County. Now, as you can see from this map, that neighborhood is in a very woodsy area. And we've got video from our crew in the field showing deputies scanning those woods for any evidence. And we just learned, because of this active situation, Fredericksburg City schools are on a 2-hour delay tomorrow. 7 News' Liana Golden is live at that scene tonight. She's been there for hours now. Liana, what are you hearing from both investigators and neighbors?
Well, Scott, certainly a very busy, very active and fluid night here in Spotsylvania County. We are going on hour 6 of deputies and first responders searching that woodsy area you mentioned right next to this neighborhood here in Old Greenwich Circle, for those who are familiar with.
Hold on, I'm sorry. They're still searching. This is a video that just posted about 10 minutes ago, just so you guys know. All right, it's about 10, maybe 20 minutes old. But what I think is very interesting is that they're still looking in the wooded areas. You really think that these kids are still in the wooded areas? I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. They gone, guys. They gone. They kick rocks. That's what I truly believe. After this whole thing went down, they got away. Now, they may have left something behind, you know, some piece of information, maybe some evidence, maybe a weapon, something of that sort. But nah, these guys are long gone by now. I would assume, unless they're dumb and still hiding behind a tree right now, then they're going to get caught, right? I'd rather that be the case, right? But they still are out here and nowhere to be found.
The area, from what we know, it sounds like this shooting may have taken place outdoors outside these homes. We know that 3 people are confirmed deceased this evening. The chief medical examiner showing up not too long ago, just within the past 30 minutes here. Another 3 people are injured because of this gunfire. We do not know their conditions at this time. At last check from the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, they could not provide any identifications or any genders or any updates on the conditions of those in the hospital. Major Elizabeth Scott, she stresses just how active this situation is. People are urged to stay indoors this evening. Let's listen to what she has to say.
At this point, because we do not have anybody in custody, it is still considered an active shooter situation. We do have drones up in the air. They may have seen people in the woods, residents coming out. It is an active shooter situation, so we are going to be actively looking for an armed subject or subjects. So we're asking the public to please stay clear of the area, let the investigators do their job, and stay inside their homes.
So earlier, when this first happened, of course, there were so many people out here coming to see what had happened, seeing if they knew any loved ones involved. I spoke to one man who says that the shooting happened right in front of his house. How horrifying. He was in his living room. He heard gunshots. He had 3 little daughters with him. He took them down to his basement to try to protect them as best as he could. He said he was just so terrified, called 911. Spoke to another woman who said she had just come home from work, literally down the street, and saw the shooting happen. She says had she arrived even just 30 seconds earlier, she's worried she may have been caught in that crossfire. Take a listen.
Then I heard it and I saw bullets going everywhere. Again, it's something I've never really seen. I never experienced it. I didn't think it was real, but it very much was so. And it was a little shocking. It's kind of, like I said, it's not something you see every day.
Definitely not every day, as deputies and first responders here, law enforcement, continue the search for the shooter or shooters. Major Elizabeth Scott, she says there are at least 6 people total here, but there could be more as this search continues. Again, Fredericksburg schools will be on a 2-hour delay tomorrow morning to give school staff proper time to prepare following this incident. Reporting live here in Spotsylvania.
I mean, again, this is some scary stuff. I mean, imagine being in that kind of situation. But again, we don't know everything yet. It's as excuse me, as they said, this is still a fluid situation. They don't have all the information, but it is very interesting nonetheless that you got kids that are just nonchalantly walking in the area, just holding long guns like it's nothing. Like they're carrying their books to school. It's a scary thing, guys. Real talk. This is a very, very scary thing. Let's take a look at this.
News out of Spotsylvania, where police are investigating a mass shooting with at least 3 people killed. Thanks for joining us here at 7:30. I'm Bill Fitzgerald. Crime Insider John Burkett joins us live now from the staging area there with what we're learning so far. John?
Bill, the actual scene is off the 400 block of Old Greenwich Circle. That's about a quarter of a mile south of where I'm standing on Lafayette Boulevard. As you said, this is the staging area right now for law enforcement. They've got about 50 officers back here in the Sheetz parking lot. About an hour to an hour and 15 minutes ago, shots rang out in this area. Sources telling us and deputies confirming that 3 people have been shot and killed, 3 others shot and taken to a hospital. My sources tell me some of those victims are children that have been shot. We don't know the ages as of yet. We're working to get that information right and taken to a hospital. My sources tell me some of those victims are children that have been shot. We don't know the ages as of yet. We're
kids. So I keep thinking, and that's terrible, terrible news, by the way. But I'm wondering, could the kids, this is going to sound crazy, but could they have been targets as well? Or did they just get hit because as casualties? Does that make sense? Or, like they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and these assailants came in, opened fire, and they just these kids just got caught in the crossfire? Or were they actually targets by these other kids? Because those guys that we saw, and if there is for sure a connection with what we saw with those guys walking down the street with the long guns in their hands and this tragedy, if there is a connection and they're kids, I'm wondering if the targets were actually kids as well. Okay? This is insane. And yeah, kids going after kids. If that's the case, we go when the assailants are actually caught, which I hope they will be, okay, because they are looking for them. They are looking, and it will happen. They will get found, and they will get arrested. I'm hoping that my theory is wrong. I'm hoping that these are grown men. Real talk. I mean, it doesn't make the situation any better, but you know what I'm saying, okay? But again, these are kids. That's what I see. They definitely were kids. Shoot, they look like they haven't even hit puberty yet. All right. That's just my theory. They look like junior high, early high school years. Okay. At best. I'm giving them some years. All right. But we'll see. But kids were hurt for sure. You just heard that.
We're working to get that information right now. Here on scene at the command center, they have a drone up in the air. They have a helicopter that's hovering over there. I'm not sure if that's a DC chopper for a TV station or if that's state police. I can't really see it, but they've got a drone flying. They've got a chopper in the air. They've got Fredericksburg police out here, Spotsylvania police, and several unmarked units here in the scene. I was told by a source within the sheriff's department that this is an active scene. There is no shooter in custody as of yet. To keep my head on a swivel in this area because they are searching for whoever pulled the trigger here this afternoon. We'll continue to follow the story for you. And
again, like we still don't know where they are. They're somewhere, but and I'm hoping we find out where exactly they are. But again, these are kids. Unbelievable. We got more.
Thanks for staying with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do have some breaking news that we do have to get to here on Live Now. I want to put this up on your screen. We've been following this development coming out of Virginia. We do know, thanks to our partners there at Fox 5 in Washington, D.C., that the sheriff's office there in Spotsylvania County, Virginia, says that 6 people were shot, 3 are now dead, and 3 others have been transported to local hospitals. And of course, we're still following this information, but these 3 people are now dead following a shooting there in a neighborhood, according to the sheriff's office. Also, according to those officials, as we put some of these aerials from the scene put up there on your screen, this is from just a bit earlier today, that those 3 people have been declared dead and 3 other victims have been transported to a local hospital. The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, though, has been holding press conferences throughout the evening, giving us the updates that they currently have. But the conditions we do know of those injured victims are not yet known at this time. Officials also have not released any ages of those victims. We do know that the Sheriff's Office says that investigation is still active and fluid, but no suspects have been taken into custody. And again, so with knowing this happened in the area of Old Greenwich Circle there in Spotsylvania. As you're seeing some of these areas from the neighborhood, we also heard from those officials on scene just about 15 minutes or so ago. Let's play out some of those remarks as we get an update on this active situation.
Last name, Major, say it's spelled in your title, please.
Major Elizabeth Scott, ELIZABETHSCOTT, with the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office.
So what do we know at this time, Sheriff?
At this point, we received a call, multiple calls at 5:30 p.m. from the area of Old Greenwich Circle, which is in Spotsylvania County, in reference to multiple shots that were fired. Upon deputies' arrival, they found multiple gunshot victims. 3 of the victims were confirmed deceased on scene. 3 other victims were transported to local hospitals. It is still a very fluid scene. Multiple investigators are still there trying to determine who the suspects were and what the motive is. At this point in time, I don't know that we have any suspects in custody. So we're asking the public to please stay clear of the area, let the investigators do their job, and stay inside their homes.
Is this still considered an active shooter situation?
At this point, because we do not have anybody in custody, it is still considered an active shooter situation.
About how many suspects are we looking for tonight?
We don't know.
Any idea how many shots were fired and if the victims were the intended targets?
At this point, we don't know how many shots were fired. It would be factual to say multiple shots were fired.
The conditions of the people who were brought to the hospital, do you know them, and do you know the ages of anyone?
We don't know the ages at this point. I will likely put that out tomorrow morning once we gather additional information and once the next of kin have all been notified.
Can you confirm one of the victims are a juvenile? That's what we're hearing from a family member on the scene.
I don't know. I can't confirm that.
What do we know about the victims as far as sex or gender? Anything?
I do not know. This is where I've been. I haven't been to the crime scene to gather additional information.
At the scene, we noticed a number of deputies, detectives with their weapons drawn going into a wooded area. What do you know about that? Obviously, it's a search investigation, but is there anything that maybe was shared why they went into that direction?
We do have drones up in the air. They may have seen people in the woods, residents coming out. It is an active shooter situation, so we are going to be actively looking for an armed subject or subjects.
And what's your message to the community as they're going to bed tonight, knowing that there's a suspect still out there, at least one suspect still out there responsible for 3 deaths and 3 others in the hospital?
We have nearly all of our detectives out right now looking for the suspects, and we will stay looking for these suspects. We have multiple other agencies assisting with us. The city of Fredericksburg, their police department is also assisting, as well as Virginia State Police. We will stay out here until the suspects are caught.
So it is possible to say if everyone involved live over there, because you see family over there like 2 cars. We see 2 cars with bullet holes over there. Can we say if they are neighbors or something like that?
I cannot confirm if they live in the area or they drove to the area. We don't know that at this point.
Major, have you been briefed on the two men they jumped out on and put into custody, detained and took?
I did hear radio traffic that subjects were detained. I don't know that they're suspects. We're trying to speak to anybody and everybody that was in the area. So I haven't been back to the scene to corroborate any of that.
Can you say what's happening down the block there? That looks like a command center at the Sheets.
Yes, at the Sheets, behind the Sheets is our command post.
Will you be there all night, or what's the?
We will be there as long as our detectives are on scene.
And Major, as it relates to those three people detained, can you confirm that it was connected to the shooting in some way, whether they're suspects or not?
I do not know. I cannot confirm that.
And Major, I know in the last interview that you did, you mentioned how much of a stressful 24 hours this has been. Could you just reiterate that, and just having all your resources kind of in this area trying to find these suspects?
You could look at the camera.
Sure. Spotsylvania County has had several incidents over the past 24 hours that were gun related. We take these extremely seriously, and I mean, this is probably as bad as it could get, with at least 6 people being shot right now.
Several. Oh my Lord. In just this 24 hours, several gun-related situations happen in 24 hours. That's insane. What's going on with our world, y'all? Real talk, what's going on with our world?
It's been a stressful 24 hours.
Did you say anything about the conditions of the people in the hospital right now? Are they expected to live?
I don't know the conditions of the subjects in the hospital right now.
Is there a chance that those people detained are your suspects?
It could be a chance, but I do not want to speculate without going back to the command post.
And you could confirm, was it 2 or 3 people who were detained, whether it's related or not?
I don't know. I think it was 2, but again, I'm getting a lot of this information from the crews that were on scene that saw subjects detained.
So right now, are you not comfortable we should not connect the two at all?
No, I would not speculate to connect the 2 people that were detained with this crime until we can put out further information tomorrow morning.
That's interesting. I wonder why they're holding out, right? Unless they do have the guys, but they don't want to say anything because there's a couple other guys still out there, and they want to make sure that they get all of them before they say, "Oh, we got 2 of the guys," right? Maybe that's the situation, but it does sound like they got 2 guys. They got 2 guys detained. I feel like it's a safe bet that those guys have something to do with this situation for sure, right? And maybe they're just not giving out the information like that right now because they don't want the other guys to trip. You know, they want them out there so that they can go and catch them, right? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but that's interesting that they're still not connecting the two. These two with this actual tragedy. I think that's very interesting.
What time do you expect? Early morning? Put more information out, another press conference maybe?
Likely, depends on how long I'm out tonight.
Okay. So 6 confirmed shot, or are we thinking at least 6?
At least 6 that were confirmed shot.
So you're saying there could be more who were...
There could be more. Our detectives are still out. Canvassing the area.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Anything we didn't ask you, anything else?
No. You guys have given me more information than that.
Okay. Again, this is very interesting, y'all, and very tragic. This whole thing, and I hope we get some more information here very, very soon, because of course there's a lot of people, like I said, there are families here that are grieving right now because of this tragic thing that just happened. This is crazy. Yeah, and I think it's possibly street beef. Something gang related, etc. I don't know. You know what I mean? But again, violence of all kinds, knife, pews, etc. have been at an all-time high as of late. We've been talking about it a lot lately. So I'm hoping that these guys get caught here very, very soon. Carbonize, thank you so much for being a member for 14 months. I appreciate it. Did you know that a puncture from a platypus claw during mating season results in lasting nerve damage? Oh my damn. Still don't hurt like this math. Hit that like. Absolutely. You haven't written anything in a while, so that's the nice one. Okay, you getting warmed up. You're getting warmed up, carbonized. Okay, Wani, thank you so much for being a member for the past 2 months. I appreciate it. Wow, this is sad. Yes, this is very, very sad indeed. Okay, this is absolutely insane. We still don't know everything yet. They say that tomorrow morning we should be getting some more information, which I hope we do. Okay, first thing in the morning, hopefully we get some answers that they have either caught all of the guys, or that the two people that they do have detained have some sort of connection to this whole thing. I'm really, really hoping for that big time. Okay, because it's about damn time that, well, obviously they should have already been caught. Okay, and this is just a tragic situation. We shouldn't be seeing this kind of stuff, period, out here in these streets at all. Mark Saunders, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the love, showing love to my brother in Christ, Pascal, the hardest working man out here in these internet streets. Thank you so much, doing God's work. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I really do. Seriously, it means the world to me. Thank you so much for the positive feedback. I appreciate it. Reports like these can be heavy, but you stay professional. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Love you too, Mark. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much for the support. That really means a lot. But still, guys, like I said, we still don't know where these guys are. Police are still trying to find where these guys are. We also don't know the origin, why this whole thing went down. We don't know why this went down. We don't know if it's gang related, if this is street beef, if it's just a bunch of kids just being a-holes. We do not know, okay? But we do know that 3 people have lost their lives. 3 people are injured. Some of them are kids. Some of them are kids, and we are still trying to get the full scope of everything. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, we'll get more information. But this is a very tragic situation. And again, I'm praying for everyone in this situation. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that these assailants get caught and they are brought to justice as soon as possible. But guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the support. Again, thank you so very much. If you can, I got a members chat here. Let me get this really quick. Louisa, thank you so much for being a member for the past 3 months. I appreciate it. Thank you for keeping us updated with all the information. Pascal, please be safe, y'all. Yes, please be safe. Every single last one, y'all. Please be safe. Be kind to each other. Love one another. And we're gonna get through this. We're gonna be okay. All right. But please do me a favor. Before you head out, hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. I really appreciate it. Carlette, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Highest in the room. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping us informed. Of course, it's my pleasure. It's my job. Okay. But it's what I love to do. All right. So I'll keep you guys informed as best as I can. Thank you so much for the support. But please, before you head out, don't forget, hit that like button down below. Okay. Crush that. Hit that subscribe button here. Go over to my second channel. Crush that subscribe button on my second channel. Please and thank you. Your boy is working so freaking hard. Okay. It's almost damn near midnight over here. We out here still giving you guys information. So please show some love. Hit that subscribe button here. Subscribe on my second channel. Please and thank you. Make sure the notification bells are set to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random and it is what it is. Okay. The news be newsing, and when it pops off, I go live. Okay. So please subscribe, notification bell set to all. Hit that join button down below, become a member. Check out my Patreon, check out my locals, and of course, don't forget, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys? It was a late show, but I appreciate all your energy for being here. It really means a lot. We'll be talking very, very soon. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys most likely first thing in the morning because the news keeps on newsing. It's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.